Hello everyone, welcome to an all-new episode of A Talk with the Industry series brought to you by Sergi Group of Colleges. Let me introduce myself. I'm Aldrin. I'm the moderator of tonight's live talk session. Our speaker tonight is from Tamron, a Japanese company manufacturing photographic lenses, optical component, and commercial industry use optic. We are honored to be joined by Mr. Kenny, the spokesperson from Tamron with us tonight. Before we start, we would like to remind everyone to register yourself at the link provided in the comment section below. As tonight, we will be giving out 3 lucky draw prizes. We would like to also take this opportunity to thank our guests and sponsor tonight, Tamron, for their generous sponsor and support. So, for those who you have not registered, please register now by clicking the link provided in the comment section below. Please be reminded you will need to register yourself before the halftime breaks, as the registration link will be closed during the halftime break. If you wish to win and walk away with the lucky draw prize, please do stay until the end of the session so that we can validate you when your name is being called. Else, we'll draw another winner for the prize. Thank you. Now, before we begin, has anyone used a Tamron product before, or has anyone here and experienced Tamron product before this? Share with us with your experience by commenting in the comment section below. Looks like, Edward has shared before Tamron. Okay. Wow, you have some people like they have used a Tamron product before. Okay, without any delay, to all our viewers who have just tuned in, welcome to a talk with Tamron hosted by Sergi Group of Colleges. We are honored to have Mr. Kenny, the spokesperson from Tamron, with us tonight. Are you guys ready? If you are ready, comment ready in the comment section. Seems like everyone is ready. Let's see Mr. Kenny is ready or not. Mr. Kenny,
Yes, I
are you
am.
ready?
Sure am.
Hello, Mr. Kenny.
I'm ready.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Good evening, everyone, especially students from the Circuit Group of Colleges. Just a little quick word about myself. I've been a photographer for a number of years. Was quite active in commercial photography, but actually for the past 12 years, I've just been shooting for my own projects. I've been documenting and telling the story of the people who call Malaysia home. And that has resulted in a couple of books. These stories have been published online, of course, also on my social media. Currently, I split my time. I don't do a lot of advertising work now, but I split my time between my insurance business, and I also continue to document Malaysians. My current projects right now, there's a book on the bond called Born in Merdeka. I've spent actually the last 2 years before the COVID started visiting the Orang Asli, covering all the villages, but obviously that has been suspended for now. A little bit about my association with Tamron. I'm actually very proud to be a spokesperson for Tamron. They've actually been around for 70 years, so maybe that's why most of you have heard of it at some point. For years, I've been carrying a DSLR, which is one of those big cameras that you find. I found that after a while, I didn't want to carry that sort of stuff. Then I was walking like this way, you know. So I thought I better look for something that's a bit lighter. So that's how my relationship with Tamron started, because they do make lenses that are very compact, very high quality, and it also performs well in the sort of weather, because I don't like to stop shooting when it's raining or anything. So that's how my association with them started. As far as the lenses are concerned, I just carry 3 zoom lenses with me, usually just one. I'm not a very gear-centric person, but when I do have a certain special project, I will use the correct lenses. Okay, that's enough of me. Maybe back to you, Eldred.
Yeah, moving on, like for the first question tonight, the 5 key differences between a smartphone camera and a DSLR camera. So Kenny, smartphone nowadays can do wonders. Many smartphones have the ability to take better photo than some entry DSLR. Could you share with us like some difference between using a smartphone camera and a DSLR camera?
Oh, well, the differences are really a lot. It's more than 5. Maybe next slide, you can see. Maybe to the next slide. Actually, you can see that cameras have obviously have a digital sensor that allows you to take the picture. As you can see on the right side, how small that sensor is on the smartphone, and on the left side you see how big it is. Number of reasons why we have a bigger and smaller sensor. It's not because I'm bigger than you, that sort of thing. It has a reason for it. Moving on to the next slide. Because with normal cameras, you actually have the option of using many different lenses, which is why what Tamron is all about, creating all those lenses that you need, from a super wide at 18mm all the way to 300mm, which is a telephoto. You won't get this sort of lenses on the smartphone. Even with the new lenses, 2 or 3 lenses, it still won't get you that sort of range. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Okay, this was a trip that I did in India, and I'll show you why. Can you show the next 2 images also? Yeah, and one more. Okay, I was standing at that one spot with my camera and a zoom lens, and I was able to actually just within 2 or 3 seconds just turn my zoom rating, and I was able to get different composition. That is one factor that's very important for photography, because if you had a smartphone with you, I don't think you'll be running back and forth between trying to get the right angle. So
yes.
Moving on, the next image. Okay, this was in Nepal. You can barely see that person in the background. And the next image. But with just a twist of my fingers, I can focus in on the person that's quite far away. Now that is the versatility of having zoom lenses on your camera. And then the next image. Okay, the next one. And then again. And then one more. Okay, you can see how I was just positioned myself very low to the ground in Nepal. And as those people walked towards me, I was able to capture this number of images. Now,
on the same spot using like the burst mode, on the same, and like the stability, everything.
Yes, that's right. But you look at that cheeky look on that boy, it's amazing, because as he's coming towards me, he's got this smile on his face. Had I been using a smartphone, I would have gotten maybe 1 image, and then it may not be the right image. So yeah, yes. Then moving on. The next slide. Okay, that's another reason, another big reason why I use a camera, DSLR or mirrorless instead of a smartphone. If you look at the images in the background, the next image, please. Okay, this is a model that I photographed in the studio. Can you see we've blown her, we've enlarged her to like, I think it's like 1.5 meters here. And in the picture before, it was actually about 2.5 meters. Yes, I know most of you have seen like the taken with iPhone kind of billboards on the highway, right? But those are actually viewed from very far away, because if you were to go closer, you would not be able to discern a lot of detail. And this is why one of the reasons why I use a camera instead of a smartphone. And then moving on. The next image. Okay, this image is very dark, but it's dark for a reason, because I shot it with a flash. When you look at an image like this, this was shot in RAW. What is RAW? Because most of us are used to shooting in a JPEG format. When you shoot in RAW, you give yourself the ability to edit a lot on the computer. Look at the next image. Okay, can you see how it is?
Wow,
and
there's like
this was by design. Yes. And this photograph was shot with external flash, which is the only way you can capture a dancer jumping in the background. But you can see, shooting raw, I can control, I can bring up the shadows, I can cut down on the highlight. Following image. Okay, this was shot at night. I don't, for those who are familiar with photography, is ISO 6400. Where this man was standing this was actually in the Seletar people in Johor. You could hardly even see his face, but the camera is able to pick up this image. And when I went and edited it, I was able to see to bring out the details. The next image. Okay, I'm sure you can see there's a lady perched on the stairs, but
in a bar.
Yeah, but who is she? So let's try the next image. Okay, you can see this was all done in camera. All right, no flash, shot in RAW. But when I got back to my studio, I was able to edit and bring this out. So this is the versatility of shooting in RAW and shooting on a camera that has a big enough sensor. Because on the smartphone, sensor is so small that you would not be able to get enough detail. Okay, the next image. Dark, right? It's a horrible picture. But next one. See, isn't it so amazing? So this is why sometimes admittedly, I do shoot with the smartphone. But a lot of times when I know that I want to try and get really good pictures out of it, I will shoot with a proper camera. And just the next image. Again, this is my favorite barber in Pekan Sungai Bersih. It's just dark. And then if you give this picture to the barber, he's going to scold you, right? But the next image. See, isn't it so amazing? And that's why I shoot RAW and I shoot my camera, because when I photograph people, I don't want to have to think a lot before I'm very intuitive photographer. I don't like to stand there and guide someone. I'll just take the camera and shoot and move around, just trying to get the right image. And knowing the camera and the lenses with the zoom lens, you can just zoom in and out. And I always know that whatever happens, once I go back to get home, I can edit and get a very good picture of it. And I'll just show 2 more pictures. The next one.
Like using a camera, like you're treating him like as your eye. You capture the moment.
Yeah, because the thing with people is they're not professional models. So if you ask them to stand there or move your hand up a bit, turn your head this and that, they're not going to enjoy themselves. So the way I shoot is I hold the camera in my hand, and then I will just shoot, talk to him, shoot, So that way I am able to capture the right expressions and have him relax. So this girl, actually she's a lawyer. Okay, the next image. Okay, this was shot in Damansar. There's a rainforest there, and we just went in there and photographed her. Of course, it was a bit risky with the hula hoop and the fire, But anyway, it all ended well. Nobody got burnt. The leaves were all fine. But yeah, this is just the sort of images that I get by shooting with my camera. Admittedly, I could have sat there with my maybe my smartphone and gotten something quite similar. But why give yourself that trouble? Because at the end of the day, what if I want to blow it up? And this picture actually enlarged it quite big, So those are the differences. And just one last thing is the dynamic range, meaning that you are able to photograph with a camera. You photograph a scene where it's dark shadows and the bright areas, and you can get the detail out of all of that. Whereas if a smartphone is pretty much, if it's dark, it's going to be dark. And if it's too bright, there's not much you can do to save the day. on your computer. Okay, I'm done with the differences. Back to you, Adrian.
Okay, Kenny, you've been a very successful professional photographer. I'm wondering, like, what
Successful.
would
Okay.
be your proudest
Yes.
moment as a photographer?
I think my Born in Malaysia project was very important for me because in the past I shot fashion a lot when I was in Hong Kong and all. But when I look back at those pictures, I was like, damn, do they mean anything? Is a model in a nice outfit, so what? But the pictures that I've done for Born in Malaysia, my project, actually document the stories of the people who fellow Malaysians or anyone who calls Malaysia home. So one day on my tombstone, if it says, born in Malaysia, someone documented Malaysians and all that, I'll be quite happy. So my proudest moments are actually all those subjects who are willing to sit down with me and talk to me and tell me their story and then allow me to photograph them. By the way, all the photographs, this photograph is actually from my second book on Kuala Lumpur.
Is it coming soon?
That one was published, thank God it published before COVID. So it's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like having a general idea of what kind of composition you want to compose and what condition you'll be shooting in will make your decision making much smoother, right?
Yeah. Actually, I'm a very intuitive photographer, so I don't. Some of my friends have looked at my photographs and say, "Oh, you got a structure to your photographs. You got your composition such and such." I don't know all these things. I just shoot what I feel is right, and
Like
I usually tell
passion.
people, yeah, exactly that. Because when I work with people, especially sometimes I teach workshops, I just tell people just go with what you feel. There are no hard and fast rules to photography. Just shoot what you think is right, and you should be fine. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go for our halftime break now. Before we go, let me share with you what's going on when we come back. After the break, we will continue with our interview with Mr. Kenny, and right after that, there's a lucky draw and a Q&A session. So stay tuned, everyone. If you have any question that you want to ask Mr. Kenny, you may begin to type and leave your question in the comment section during the break, and Mr. Kenny will try his best to answer all of your question. Okay, with that said, let's go for our break and we will see you shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. So let us continue with another question. Okay, Kenny, can you share with us what's the different composition and effect you can do with different type of lenses?
Okay. Actually, the main lens that I use is actually a zoom lens. So with that, I have a lot of flexibility. If you move to the next slide, I think I'll just try and tell you the sort of lenses I use. For example, this image was shot with a wide angle lens. And with a wide angle lens, you actually can get most of the background and all. This was done actually in Morocco. Okay, next image. This is a scene from Kuala Lumpur, again with a wide angle lens. I think one of the things you want to look at is, this is in Kota Baru. Kampung Baru, taken in 2014. But I would imagine that in a few years' time, all those buildings down there in Kampung Baru will be gone, and you'll be skyscrapers. So in a way, my photographs just it captures a moment in time. Okay, next image. Okay, I always shoot in the rain because for some reason, the rain changes things. People are less aware of you. And this was done in Jan Masjid, India. Heavy downpour. People walking towards me. I was just standing there like a crazy man, holding the camera and just shooting people coming by me. But that's the fun part of photography, you know, just moving out of your regular shooting in birthday party and all that, and just go out and enjoy yourself. Okay, the next one. Okay, this picture was done of an Orang Asli boy in Gopeng area. Wide angle lens, of course, so you can see that his leg is a bit exaggerated. Following, next picture. No, the one before that. Okay, Taj Mahal, everybody knows this, but I'm a bit anal. When I photograph Taj Mahal, I want to make sure that the columns are straight. A lot of times if you're down there, you're shooting up, it becomes like that. So yeah, and then everything is like that. So I always make sure that I get it right, and you need a pretty wide angle lens in order to capture that. Next one. The next, okay. This one again was in Nepal. Wide angle lens, but just always on the lookout for pictures. So when I walk around, my camera is never in my camera bag. Of course, I see a lot of people carrying their nice camera backpack, take out, unzip, take a camera and shoot. And by the time you take it out, the subject is gone. The next image. Okay, the same boy, and suddenly he's sitting down. So by just standing in that one area and keeping yourself, you know, observe what's happening around you, you can capture these sort of shots. So I don't know why those two couples on either side, that one on right is not a couple, but anyway, the one left is couple, but they are like, they're so afraid of the guy holding the candy floss. But anyway, moving on. And then sometimes images like this ones, this was done in Seberang Pride. It's a pretty, I would think it's a super wide lens. Just the feeling on that early morning when I was standing there, and those people, the Indian temple worshippers were walking up towards me, I will always remember this scene. And then in the background, you see all of Seberang Pride. Moving on, the next picture. This was a very funny picture I took in of the Orang Asli in Belum. I really didn't notice it until if you look at the guy in the back, he's got this Casio watch, big, giant red one.
Wow.
But I like it because I didn't even ask them to pose. I just took my camera, you know, they're like, hey, dude, you know, this is me, you know. So, yeah. And then the next picture. This is one of my all-time favorite pictures. And I remember on this shoot, I was with two very good friends of mine. Kamal Sohaimi, he's an anthropologist. And then Jabbar Sadiq was another dude who's always shooting together. But this was early morning in Belum. And you just hear nothing but the sound of that Orang Asli man teaching his sons, talking to his sons, then they're giggling, and then after that is the sound of the oar going through the water, and then the birds. Nothing. Life doesn't get any better than this, you know. Okay, next image. And the work I do is mainly with people. I'm not a very good landscape photographer because maybe I don't have the patience to stand there for 2 hours waiting for the sun, you know. For me, it's always about the people and expressions. And this couple, love them so much because they were really shy and when I got them in front of the camera, I told them, the three of you, the two of you, can you hold hands or not? And they said, very shy, they said, we haven't held hands for like 15 years, I said, now's the time to do it. But when they held hands, you look at their face, the expression is priceless. And this is what I really love about what I do, to get this sort of expressions, okay? And then the next one, again, another, next picture. Again, another couple, this one, mother and daughter, standing there, holding hands. And look at the way the mother is looking at the daughter, and she's just standing there, like smiling away, and the background is so beautiful. And mind you, this was this was not shot with a smartphone. It was shot with my camera. But yeah, the next picture, please. Another example of why I said earlier I love to shoot in the rain. This is rain. This is in New Delhi, and you can see one thing about camera is that when it rains, things become really interesting. You see the background is all like gray. You can see it's all gray. That's because it's the rain there. But whatever's in front of you will still retain the color. So this picture almost looks like it's painted. And then the next one. Okay, this was in Seberang Perai in this town called Waldorf. I was doing a book on Seberang Perai, and you can see the look of joy on the barber as he takes the cloth to put it around, around the little boy, and just look at those chairs. So photographs, that's why a lot of times I think that most of the photographs, you really should print it out big, because if you don't print it out, you'll never be able to pick out, like, look at the chair, it's a bit faded, the cushion, all these details, and sometimes you can spend like a lot of time just looking at one photograph. The next one, please. This Orang Asli girl, it was photographed in Belum, and this is for our Born in Merdeka project, which as I said earlier, I'm working with Kamal and my other friend Jabba. So we're going to document 18 Orang Asli tribes in Peninsular Malaysia, every single one. Okay, the next one. So this was in Jaipur. The thing about photography is that you always need to be ready with the camera. This boy is just sitting there lounging in the sun. I walk past him, and I'm always very I know how to play the game, So I've got my camera, holding there, Then he's looking at me. I know that if I point my camera at him, he'll run away. So I just pretend photographing something else. Then I turn around and photograph him. And sure enough, after I took the photograph, he jumped off. But yeah, that's kids, right? For you, right? Yeah. Okay, the next image. This was Ramli Ibrahim in Kuala Selangor. This one I went with my friend Jabba. And usually this sort of dance, if it's done in KL, there'll be full of people, all photographers, everybody. But when we went to Kuala Selangor, there was hardly anyone there. And we could move around and really get the shot. And this shot was done with a long telephoto lens, a long lens. Why? Is because so I can compress the images, so it looks almost like it's like those guys are standing right up to each other. It gives a very graphic effect. The next picture. This was done in Temolo, the Jahud. So the boys are all like having this initiation or this ceremony before they get circumcised. But again, a long lens. And sometimes you really need to be a bit further away to so that you don't intrude on them.
Yes.
Okay, next one. Next image. Okay. This one, I've looked at this photograph that was done in Nepal. I always wondered, what is the caption? Is it one guy with three wives?
He's so grumpy?
I know. If I was sitting there with three nice looking women sitting there, I will be very pleased, but he seems to be quite annoyed. Anyway, again, these are images. This was shot from quite far away. Though most times I'm quite polite, I try to be polite at least. From far away, I wave at them, So they caught. Then I said I take the picture, and then they were okay lah, except for him. Okay, the next image. This one also was taken from a distance in a village in Bandipur in Nepal. And sometimes you have a long lens, you're able to compress everything, so it looks very graphic. And in fact, in this village, I actually met someone who was a security guard in Malaysia for 15 years. Can you imagine that? Okay, following just a few more images. Okay, let me see my image. Okay. This one was a shoot for Pullman, Kuala Lumpur. I was shooting the very big wall poster for them. Okay, next image, please. So you can see in the studio, even in the studio, I'm using a long lens to compress everything so that it looks very graphic. Okay, the next image. Okay, this was the result. You see, so with a smartphone, you couldn't have done this sort of imagery, and even to blow it up to that size. Okay, next image. Again with a long lens. This is in New Delhi. Long lens, as I said, compresses things. I always like to work very close to my subject, and I'm able to talk to them, engage. But sometimes there's a good reason to stand further away. This again was heavy rain on that day. All right, next one. New Delhi. Good thing about the long lens is that it isolates the subject. On the left and right, everything is out of focus except the person in the middle. These are chili sellers, I think. And then the next one. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. With this, you're definitely not going to go up right next to it, so you really need a long lens for it. But the one that she has censored the image a bit. But anyway, moving on. Okay, next one, please. Okay, this is a long lens, definitely a long lens. You can't shoot this with a smartphone. So you see all the pigeons all running around, flying off, And then the last image. This was in Bandipur in Nepal. Early morning, I just opened my window and I saw this lady opposite side. And so I quickly grabbed my camera with the long lens and managed to photograph.
It looked like a art drawing type.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But it was, I can't imagine. But just one last comment is that when I photograph things, I really remember the situation. So I remember this day. It was a cold morning. The sun was out. Air was very fresh.
Yes.
This is so. With my camera, I've actually experienced so much. Very blessed to have done so. Okay, that's all my photographs for today.
Today, okay. Like I guess the reality is that most people don't have an unlimited budget, and the price is an important consideration when choosing a camera, particular for beginner, right?
Yeah. But cameras come in all prices, all price points, So anyway, the camera costs less than your smartphone these days. So yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing for tonight. Let's get into the Q&A session. Please flesh out the first question of tonight. There's a question from Tanya. What camera do you use?
This question, I can tell you throughout my life, everybody asks me this question. And when you ask me this question, it's like, I've used all kinds, but currently I'm using a Sony. So my Sony camera, I paired with the Tamron lenses.
Oh, okay. All right. There's a question from Hong Sheng Tang. Like I have a friend is a freshman photographer. He live take model photo and sunset for picture. Do you have any lens recommended for him to have better result?
I think if you're on a budget, just get yourself a good zoom lens. I think that most of the kit lenses that you buy the camera and then it comes with that lens, not very good. So if you invest in a better lens, for me, for instance, I'm using the Tamron BI3 range of lenses. So the zoom lens is very crisp and very sharp. So I would imagine that if you had a 28 to 75 lens, that would be quite nice. But the thing is, if he asked me this question, I don't know what sort of camera he's using. So he could be using a crop sensor or full frame. But anyway, a zoom lens would be a good buy. Get a high quality zoom and hopefully with a single aperture, okay, 2.8 or something. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's a question from Andrew. Like, which more important, having good equipment or a good composition? Wow.
Someone once said, someone once said, the best camera is the camera that you have in your hand. So I think that the good equipment is useful because good equipment allows you to shoot very quickly. Like my gear, my lenses, everything. When I focus on something, autofocus is very fast and very positive. So if your equipment is not so good, when you try to focus on something moving, the lens just keeps on going in and out, unable to focus. So you miss that shot. So get the good equipment only because it allows you to work more efficiently and not to miss the shot. Of course, good composition is more important. Back to your question, yeah, good composition is better. It's more important, I feel. All right.
Okay. Which type of camera you recommend for the student, DSLR or mirrorless? And do you think mirrorless will totally replace DSLR?
I think all the major Canon, all the major manufacturers, whether it be Nikon or Sony or whatever, all of them are focusing on the mirrorless. Mirrorless is the way for the future. I don't see any reason why you continue to use a DSLR unless you really like to carry the weight, because DSLR cameras are heavier, the lenses are heavier. So, so for a student, just go for mirrorless. And there are many price ranges for mirrorless. So I'm sure you'll be able to find something that is within your budget. Okay.
From Goku Hero, like I found out that when we zoom the camera lens like to 270 mm, the image will a bit dark. How to make the setting to get a good photo when using a telephoto lens? Wow.
Okay, you just I think it's dark simply because your exposure is underexposed. I mean, you just have to either open up your lens, the aperture, or your shutter speed, use a slower shutter speed. This one again is without knowing what camera or what equipment you're using at that time, or even seeing that picture, it's hard to say. However, why don't you send that picture to us? If there's I'll take a look at the picture. I'll comment on it later. Okay, I'll be happy to do so. Maybe just post it on the comments, right? Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Kenny, for answering the question. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now is the turn for our lucky draw. Before we enter the lucky draw, I would like to introduce our next live session on the 20th of June, Miss Fadina Fao from Google. Please do free to join our next live session. Now, before we begin, I must remind everyone again Please remember to comment "I am the winner" if your name is being called as our winner within 1 minute after the announcement of you, or you will be forfeited. Are you ready? Let's
I
see who
join?
is our lucky winner tonight. Sure, you can join. All right, congrats. Then the first winner is Phoebe Xia. Congrats, Phoebe. Please comment "I am the winner" to identify and validate yourself before the time runs out. While waiting for the winner, let's continue on our Q&A session. From Scarlett, is it legitimately okay to take photos of people in the street? Wow.
This is a very fair question to ask. Usually, when I'm on the street, I need to take a picture of someone. I will ask the person. But most times, if you can't, if you're not using the picture to sell, you're selling it for advertising or anything, it's fine. There was a case where a few years ago where somebody tried to sue the photographer because he had taken a picture of someone, his friend, and she was in the background, way in the background. Went to court, and actually they lost the case because the judge was saying that main focus of the picture is the person's friend, not you in the way off in the background. So again, there's no hard and fast rule, but so long as that person is pretty much in the background, it's okay. But if you go up to that person and photograph him, please ask for permission.
Yeah. Okay. Let's winner. The winner is here. Like, congrats, Phoebe. Okay, let's go on. Let's carry on our second winner. And our second winner is Shasha, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm the correct pronunciation. Congrats. Please comment "I'm the winner" to identify yourself, and you have 1 minute time. Okay, let's carry on our second question. What's make a good photographer?
Oh, I think this is a question I've been asked like a million times, but still a valid question. What makes a good photographer is someone who's willing to experiment. I'll give an example. One time I was doing a free workshop for students, right? Teenagers. So there are a group of guys, a group of girls. So when I said, okay, give them a subject, go and shoot. All the guys were spending time looking at the camera, checking the lens, zoom lens, this, that, everything, right? The girls were just using some kind of camera. They just went around and shot. And some were climbing up high, low, and on. So to be a good photographer, you need to be inquisitive. That means you like the surrounding around you. You want to find out what are things I can photograph with this camera, rather than just standing there. Just go around. Just if you're interested in people, go out on the streets. So makes a good photographer is someone who's inquisitive, I would imagine. Yeah.
Okay, looks like our second winner is not here. Never mind, we will draw again for our second winner. Okay, congrats to Kyung Ket. Congrats. Like, please comment you are I'm the winner to identify if you are here. Let's carry on the next question. You shoot a lot of candid street photography. Have you encountered a hostage subject who may school you for taking her photo? How do you deal with that situation? Wow.
Of course, I've encountered hostile subjects. Actually, they were hostile even before I took the picture because I saw this guy in Ipoh hacking the signboard. So I wanted to go and ask him nicely, can I take your picture? And then he was doing something, he just did this to me. Asked him to go away. So
Go away.
I went away. So yeah, I've encountered that.
Okay.
Being scolded, no, because as I said, if I know I'm going to take that picture of that person, like going up to the person, I will ask. So you ask, or most times if you're going to take a picture, you just do a little wave,
Like
and then the
hand
person look at
language,
you.
with your camera.
That sort of thing. Then if they don't give you a one fierce kind of face, then you take the picture. It's okay. But the thing is, you yourself, one of the things I want to warn people is don't think that you can take someone's picture and the person doesn't realize you're doing so. Because sometimes people like, I'm there, someone trying to take my picture. I know that person is there. It's like trying to pretend, Come on, just say, just wave, smile at someone.
Just like act naturally.
Yeah. Why you have to like pretend that you're trying to not taking the picture?
Sneak on. Okay. Congrats, KO. You're the second winner. Let's draw for our last winner for tonight.
Great. So many winners.
There's 3 winners. Congrats to Wong Chun Hao. Okay, please comment. I'm the winner. In the comment section. You have 1 minute time to validate. How do you capture the moment? Any tips on capturing photo that capture a story?
This is exactly something very close to my heart. Because the photographs that I take for my project one in Malaysia, we usually have a story to accompany it. And I think that a lot of times to capture that photo, that moment is actually after you've spoken to that person. Find out, just talk to that person. Because in my travels throughout Malaysia and throughout the world, I find that people who are doing the simplest things like a cobbler making shoes, or just go up there, squat down beside the person, ask that person that story. Then after that, when you take the picture, you find that it's better because you understand what he's doing. So yeah, so that would be the way I would do it.
Oh, okay. Oh, congrats to Chun Hao. You're the last winner for tonight.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Before we end this live talk tonight, I would like to pass to Mr. Kenny to talk about like Malaysia Pixel community.
Okay, for people who are in this watching this program, just want to tell Malaysian Pixel or MAP or MAP actually is an initiative by Futuromic to sort of promote photography, creating a new imaging community platform on Facebook. Now, in this group, there are a few photographers like myself, professionals, and also enthusiasts. Then we also have some university lecturers in photography. So the whole point is that this is a group that we're trying to nurture other photographers. So you don't have to be making a living out of it. So long as you have this idea that you want to be a better photographer, so join this initiative. And the good thing is that Futuromic has and MAP. We have decided that any person with any camera can join. So it's not specific to one brand. Just join us, and later on we will be conducting some workshops. But currently now we have a photo contest going on, and I believe it will be until the end of August or end of September. I'm not sure, but please go to our Facebook page, MAP, and then find out what the contest is all about and join it. So this is actually a very exciting community, and a lot of the photographers who are part of the founders of this place we are donating our time to teach. Okay.
Oh, all right. Oh, for those who like taking photo, please go join their
just
contest.
join us.
Yeah.
Most welcome.
Okay, we have come to an end of today's live talk session. Once again, on behalf of Segi Group of Colleges, we would like to thank Mr. Kenny and Tamron for making time to this section and your generous sponsor. Congrats to all the winner of the lucky draw tonight too. Of course, not forgetting all of our viewers. Thank you everyone for joining us today and stay tuned for our upcoming live section. And until we see you next time, stay home, stay safe. Have a wonderful evening from all of us in Sergey Grove Colleges. See you and bye-bye.
Bye.